Hello, I'm Sally Race and I'm a hypnotherapist. A lot of people ask about what hypnotherapy actually is and how it works and whether it works or not. So I thought I'd take a few minutes today to just explain to you the basic principles, I guess, of hypnotherapy so you can understand a little bit more about it and I suppose bust a few myths too. So hypnotherapy is based on the principle that we have two parts to our minds. We've got a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. The conscious part of our mind, in theory, is very logical. It's switched on when we're awake, and when it switches off, we go to sleep. So it's the part-time bit of our mind, and it's the part that we use a lot when we're learning new things, because we tend to learn them in a logical way. Now, the subconscious part of our mind hasn't got logic at all. It's the bigger part of our mind, so that holds all our memories, all our feelings and emotions, our beliefs, our values. It's the part that makes us who we really are as individuals. It's that part of our mind that often causes those little problems for us that get in the way of everyday life. So, with hypnotherapy, what we tend to do is look at how we can communicate directly with the subconscious part of our mind, because the conscious mind sometimes doesn't communicate very well. In fact, if you're looking at the possibility of hypnotherapy to stop doing something, for instance stop smoking or stop feeling anxious, then the more you tell yourself consciously to stop doing something, the harder it seems to get, doesn't it? And that's because if I was to say to you now, don't think about a black cat. Don't think about it. Get that thought straight out of your mind. Don't think about that black cat whatsoever. Don't think about it. What are you thinking about? The more you repeat that you're not going to think about it, the more it's in your mind, and the more it's in your mind, then it obsesses your thoughts, doesn't it? And it drives you towards that thing. So with hypnotherapy, we look at what we can do to change that. Change those thought patterns, get your thoughts in the right order to help you move forward. And we do that by changing parts of your subconscious mind. So hypnosis can be sorted in many different ways. I tend to use a lot of relaxation for hypnosis because that's an ideal state, particularly for people that need to learn to relax. But there are many different ways of inducing what they call a hypnotic state. And all that means is that the subconscious part of your mind is at a point where it can absorb new things and make changes. It's a thing that we slip in and out of all the time. It's a natural state that we're in and out of every day. So I'll tell you a little bit more about how our mind naturally makes changes. So there are lots of different ways. There are two main ways that stand out above all others, and these are repetition. So anything that you repeat over and over again, and it doesn't matter whether you do something physically, whether you hear something repeatedly, think something repeatedly, or say it. However it's repeated, eventually your subconscious mind will put that onto autopilot and make it happen for you. And that's why one of the reasons of telling yourself not to do something isn't good, because you're repeating that not good thing. So eventually your subconscious mind puts that not good thing on autopilot for you. So the more you think, don't worry, sometimes that worry can actually escalate. So that's one of the ways our minds puts things into change. Driving is a really good example of that, because if you remember the first time, if you drive now, first time you were behind a wheel of a car to learn to drive, it's really hard, isn't it, for most people. After a while you learn how to do it reasonably comfortably. When you've been driving a while, then many times you'll find you get to the end of a journey and kind of think, I can't even remember driving here. And yet you've done it safely. You've stopped at the red traffic lights, you've done all the things that you needed to. You don't have to think about where the bite is on your clutch or what gear to change into, you just do it. And that is wonderful because you've repeated it so often, your mind's put it onto autopilot. The thing about autopilot in our mind is that because we haven't got logic in our subconscious mind, then it doesn't filter out the things that aren't good for us to repeat. It won't look at what you're repeating and think, that's not great for you long term, so I'm not going to autopilot that. It does it anyway, because it hasn't got the logic to do it. So, if you're going to take anything away from this, take away the fact that you need to make sure you're feeding your mind the right thoughts to get you in the direction you want to go. Now the other way, because I said there were two main ways, the other way is through heightened emotion. So at any point that you're feeling any strength of emotion, it works in adulthood as well, but mostly things come from childhood. But when you're feeling any strength of emotion, then our minds will make a connection between that feeling and something around us at the time. Now remember, our mind isn't really logical in our subconscious, so it won't always make complete sense what it makes that link to, but it will make a link. It's often how memories are triggered as well, because sometimes you remember why you're getting that feeling with that stimulus. So for instance, if you put on the radio and you hear a song from way back, it often brings a memory with it, or at least feelings with it. So you could put the radio on and find yourself, with a bit of a tear in your eye, a lump in your throat, and you may or may not know the reason behind it. Or you might find yourself smiling and feeling really happy, because at some point you've been feeling those emotions when that particular song's been playing and it's made that connection. We do it with all sorts of things, from music to smells to specific objects, and even people and types of people. So it's a thing that we do kind of naturally. That might help you to understand a little bit about what's going on with you at the moment. Those two very basic things of how our minds make changes. So we do work to make changes to subconscious mind with hypnotherapy. We look at how we can use those natural processes of change to communicate with your subconscious mind to get it to change in a way that's natural. So it is a very natural process. It's a very kind of simple and straightforward process. We can work on deep emotional stuff that needs changing, that we're carrying with us from the past, and we can also work on actually helping us to move forward from that. Also, we kind of work not just on different problems, but we can also work on things to help you improve on what you're already doing. So for instance, if you have to speak publicly because of your job, then maybe that's something that's not very comfortable for you and you want to feel good at it and be great at it, then we can help you instill that confidence and that passion to be able to speak to lots of people and feel good. So it's not just about fixing problems, it's about enhancing things too. Having that in the zone feeling when you're maybe playing golf or tennis or whatever your sport is, as well as removing phobias, or at least making them feel lots better, losing weight. There are so many things that hypnosis can work with. So I do free initial consultations. There is no charge whatsoever. I invite people to come along and have a chat, to meet me, explain what's going on in your life, and if I feel I can help, then I'll explain what the process will be. If I don't, I have lots of connections that may be able to help, so I can usually point you in the right direction. So if you'd like to know more about hypnotherapy specifically relating to what you'd like to change in your life, just give me a ring, send me a message, and book a free consultation. I hope it's been helpful.